Greetings, fellow perpetrators of the Phantom Zone. Throughout our explorations across the Omniverse, we've encountered various supermen, each with their own set of adversaries determined to sow chaos and destruction across their respective Earths. This pattern holds true even in DC's primary Earth, Earth Zero, where iconic villains such as Lex Luthor, Doomsday, General Zod, Darkseid, Mongol, Toyman, and Silver Banshee have solidified their places within Superman's notorious rogues gallery. Yet there exists one seldom discussed antagonist whose enduring threat to the life of the Man of Steel has stood the test of time: Jax-Ur. In today's video, we will uncover the intricacies of Jax-Ur's lore and the impact he has had on the legacy of the iconic hero. So, let us proceed, my henchmen, and explore the enigma of Jax-Ur. But before we begin, we have a small request. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel. It is a small click from you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Kneel before Jax. Jax-Ur was brought to life by writer Otto Binder and artist George Papp, marking his inaugural appearance in Adventure Comics issue number 289 in 1938. In this Silver Age tale, a young Clark Kent, along with his father Jonathan Kent, was tidying up Clark's collection of trophies earned during his Superboy days. During this process, Jonathan inadvertently touched a mystical crystal, granting him powers akin to those of Superboy. Seizing the opportunity, Jonathan grounded Clark from ever assuming the Superboy persona again and took charge of all heroic duties, safeguarding the world from imminent threats. Adopting the Superboy guise, Jonathan dismantled all of Superboy's 8 robots except for one. To conceal Clark's view of his activities, Jonathan painted the Kent storefront with lead paint. Utilizing his enhanced vision, Clark discovered Jonathan's ploy. He had used the last remaining Superboy robot to amass green kryptonite, intending to use it to kill Superboy and then rule the world. Foiling this plan, Clark short-circuited the robot and disposed of the kryptonite in quicksand. Uncovering the Phantom Zone projector, Superboy revealed Jonathan's true identity as Jax-Ur, an inmate from the Phantom Zone. Employing the projector, he banished Jax-Ur back to the Phantom Zone once more. Who is Jax-Ur? Jonathan Kent recounted the origins of Jax-Ur, a narrative that had been revealed to him. Jax-Ur, a nefarious scientist hailing from Krypton, harbored aspirations of world domination. Defying Kryptonian laws, he conducted experiments with an untested explosive, intending to intercept a passing meteor through target practice. His aim was to create a weapon of mass destruction capable of holding Krypton hostage, securing his role over the planet. However, a critical miscalculation occurred. The missile veered off course, shattering Krypton's inhabited moon into 4 fragments. This catastrophe resulted in the deaths of millions and dealt a severe setback to Krypton's defense program, as the moon served as the primary observation base. Consequently, Jax-Ur faced trial for genocide and received a sentence to the Phantom Zone, alongside a handful of other criminals. He observed Superboy from within this extra-dimensional realm and yearned for life on Earth. Exploiting a warp within the Phantom Zone caused by the passage of a meteor, Jax-Ur managed to escape and devised a plan to eliminate Superboy. However, his scheme was thwarted, leading to his re-imprisonment. Troubles with Superman. In Action Comics issue 284, Jax-Ur and fellow Phantom Zone detainees attempted a breakout by exploiting a breach widened by the electrical ions of the Aurora Borealis. Mon-El warned Superman, Supergirl, and Krypto, prompting them to unite their X-ray vision and eliminate the Aurora Borealis, closing the opening that Jax-Ur and the others aimed to exploit for their escape. In Action Comics issue 310, Jax-Ur aided Superman in eradicating a plague in Atlantis, earning a day of freedom from Superman in return. However, during time travel with Superman, Jax-Ur deceived him into believing he was exposed to dual kryptonite and could trigger explosives. He offered a cure that demanded freedom for himself and his allies from the Phantom Zone in exchange. Superman later discovered there was no dual kryptonite. Instead, Jax-Ur mentally detonated earthly objects from the zone. When confronted, Jax-Ur admitted he preferred infamy as the worst criminal in the Phantom Zone rather than being celebrated as a hero for curing the plague. Cry, Supergirl, cry. In the pages of Action Comics issue 288, Jax-Ur endeavored to return to the realm of the living again. Alongside several other criminals banished to the Phantom Zone, he established telepathic communication with Robert Danvers, the foster father of Linda Lee Danvers, aka Supergirl. Leveraging Robert's existing telepathic capabilities, the Phantom Zone inhabitants hypnotized him, compelling him to procure Supergirl's tears. Jax-Ur intended to use these tears when combined with a specific chemical formula to create a rupture within the Phantom Zone. Under the hypnotic influence, Robert orchestrated a series of events to elicit tears from Supergirl, including breaking her mementos from past adventures and triggering memories of Argo City. Following Jax-Ur's instructions, he combined Supergirl's tears with the chemical solution, successfully freeing Jax-Ur. However, Mon-El was freed before Jax-Ur as Jax-Ur suspected Superman's surveillance on Robert. Rushing to Supergirl's aid, Mon-El utilized kryptonite to thwart Jax-Ur's plans, sending him back into the Phantom Zone and re-imprisoning him. The redemption. Was Jax-Ur inherently bad, or did he retain even a slightest fragment of goodness within him? This question found its answer within the pages of Superman issue 205, as the super nemesis Black Zero descended upon Earth with the intent to annihilate it. Black Zero, responsible for hastening the destruction of Krypton's uranium core nuclear combustion, and consequently obliterating the entire planet, posed an imminent danger. On finding out Zero's plans, Superman failed to stop him as his moral principles restrained him from taking Zero's life. At this crucial juncture, the apparition of Jax-Ur unexpectedly offered his assistance. Although met with skepticism, Superman reluctantly accepted his aid and freed him from the Phantom Zone. Jax-Ur utilized the Phantom Zone vantage point to pinpoint Zero's hideout. However, their confrontation was interrupted as Zero struck Jax-Ur with a red kryptonite bullet, transforming him into a python. While Superman managed to escape, he discovered Zero's plan involving an atomic bomb set to destroy Earth and destroyed it to avert catastrophe. In a surprising turn, Jax-Ur underwent a transformation into a Medusa-like entity, ultimately turning Zero into stone. He then shattered him into fragments and ended his life. Upon reviving from the effects of red kryptonite, Jax-Ur expressed gratitude to Superman for granting him a chance at redemption. Honoring Jax-Ur's request, Superman reconfined him to the Phantom Zone as a closure. The Retconned. The 1979 miniseries titled World of Krypton delved deeper into Jax-Ur's backstory. According to this iteration, Jax-Ur held the esteemed position of chief rocket scientist in Kryptonopolis and collaborated with Jor-El in developing the prison capsule rocket. However, he later turned into a renegade loner, aspiring to seize full control of Krypton. During a test of his atomic missile, a critical error occurred. Instead of detonating in space as intended, the missile veered off course, colliding with Jor-El's spaceship and diverting it towards Regthor, Krypton's moon. The collision resulted in the tragic loss of 500 million Kryptonian lives and led to the prohibition of any further space travel experiments. Consequently, Jax-Ur faced banishment to the Phantom Zone for his grave crime. The Dream of Superman. Jax-Ur even made his presence felt within Superman's subconscious in Superman Annual 11. On Superman's birthday, February 29th, Batman, Robin, and Wonder Woman paid a visit to the Fortress of Solitude, bearing gifts. To their surprise, they discovered Superman in a catatonic state, ensnared by an alien plant known as Black Mercy. This plant, wielded by the alien conqueror Mongol, had incapacitated Superman by ensnaring him in a realistic dream, feeding on his bio-aura and manifesting manifesting his deepest desires. Within this dream state, Superman experienced a life on Krypton, his long-lost home, living a normal existence and happily married to Lila Laurel with children. Intriguingly, Jax-Ur was within this dream. He was imprisoned in the Phantom Zone's limbo for more than 22 years. He was helmed as a martyr by the violent anti-Phantom Zone protesters, who vehemently believed that the Phantom Zone was a torture mechanism and demanded the freedom of all the exiles. They launched an assault on Zor-El to vent their anger and proclaim their dedication to freeing Jax-Ur by any means necessary. The disappearance. Jax-Ur did not appear in the funny pages much, and then the Crisis on Infinite Earths happened. In this earth-shattering event, all the Earths got merged into one new Earth, and the entire DC Universe and its history was rebooted. It was hinted in the new history of the DC Universe that all the Kryptonians perished when the planet exploded. Since the Phantom Zone was a storage facility for the criminals, Jax-Ur may have perished with the destruction. The comeback. Jax-Ur made a significant return in the story arc titled Superman Last Son. This tale began with the arrival of a young boy in a stasis pod on Earth, discovered by Superman. It was soon revealed that the boy hailed from Kryptonian origins. Embodying their beacon of hope, Superman and Lois promptly embraced the child, offering him fatherly love and a nurturing home. This young boy happened to be the offspring of General Zod and Ursa, conceived within the confines of the Phantom Zone. Superman christened the boy Christopher Kent and entrusted his care to Clark and Lois. However, this heartwarming act was part of a larger scheme crafted by Zod, who orchestrated a Kryptonian invasion. Alongside Ursa, Non, and other exiles from the Phantom Zone, Zod attacked Metropolis. Jax-Ur also emerged during this crisis in the pages of Action Comics issue 846. In a drastic turn, he trapped Superman in the Phantom Zone. With the aid of Mon-El, Superman managed to break free from the Zone's clutches and confine Zod and his cohorts back into their prison. Tragically, Christopher, or Chris, became trapped within the Phantom Zone along with the invaders. But Jax-Ur's fate remained unrevealed. The evil strikes again. During the New Krypton storyline, Chris Kent was rescued by Kandorian Thera Akvar from a collapsing Phantom Zone. They came to Earth and fought crime by donning the symbols of the legendary Kryptonian heroes, Nightwing and Flamebird. They possessed a Kryptonian crystal, which helped them track down and capture all of Zod's sleeper agents dispersed across Earth. In a surprising revelation within the pages of Action Comics issue 875, it was revealed that Jax-Ur was among the sleeper agents. The Helping Hand. Chris Kent found himself in a dire predicament, undergoing painful accelerated aging. Seeking assistance, he and Thera turned to Lois Lane for help. Their quest for aid led them to Dr. Kimyo Hoshi of Star Labs, known as the New Dr. Light. Dr. Hoshi guided Chris and Thera to Dr. Pillings, a prominent xenobiologist within Star Labs' xenogenetics program. Unbeknownst to them, Dr. Pillings was actually Jax-Ur, harboring his own agenda to wreak havoc on Earth. Deceptively, he agreed to assist them. However, in the unfolding events of Action Comics issue 883, Jax-Ur's true motives surfaced. He sought to harness the genuine powers of Flamebird, which resided within Thera. Revealing his actual identity to Thera, Jax-Ur proposed a deal. He offered to cure Chris in exchange for a sample of Thera's DNA. Collaborating with Dr. Light, they successfully reversed the effects of aging caused by the Phantom Zone on Chris's cells. Unbeknownst to them, Jax-Ur cunningly gained access to Chris's DNA, which contained remnants of Nightwing's power, advancing his malevolent scheme. The Ballad of Vok, the Breaker. Within the pages of Action Comics issue 886, the intricate history unfolded through the revelations from the Book of Ra, the deity of Krypton. Ra birthed three distinct entities: Vok the Builder, entrusted with the task of creation; Flamebird, assigned the role of renewal and purging; and Nightwing, a solitary observer lurking in the shadows. Burdened by loneliness, Vok sought to alleviate Nightwing's solitude by forging a link between Nightwing and Flamebird, uniting their souls to end Nightwing's isolation. Through this union, Nightwing and Flamebird formed a profound bond of love. However, Vok, also enamored with Flamebird, endeavored to manifest an entity embodying his affection and passion. Unfortunately, Flamebird's primal instincts led her to consume Vough's creation, causing profound heartbreak for Vought. He then crafted a crystal and presented it to Flamebird. Yet, when she unleashed her primal fire upon it, the crystal trapped the Nightwing entity, severing it from Flamebird for eternity. This act marked Vough's transformation into Vought the Destroyer, seeking revenge for his shattered heart. In a startling revelation, just as Chris and Thera embodied the Nightwing and Flamebird entities, Jax-Ur was unveiled as the embodiment of Vought the Destroyer. His ultimate goal was to resurrect an immaculate rendition of the Kryptonian god Ra and set him loose upon Earth, manipulating this powerful entity to reboot all creation in his image. The end of the Destroyer. Jax-Ur successfully resurrected Ra, unleashing the deity's fury upon Earth, resulting in widespread devastation. To ensure no interference, Jax-Ur banished Chris into the Phantom Zone. Lois reached out to the JSA for aid, seeking their support in assisting Flamebird against Ra's onslaught. While the heroes battled Ra, Flamebird confronted Jax-Ur, but was overpowered. Meanwhile, Chris discovered the Nightwing entity within the desolate depths of the Phantom Zone and merged with it. Nightwing returned and reunited with Flamebird. Together with the JSA, they combated Ra and tried to tame his twisted heart. Ultimately, Flamebird utilized her strongest torrent of primal fire to purge the Vought entity, while Nightwing confined it in the Phantom Zone within himself. They left behind the empty husk of Jax-Ur to be collected by the JSA. The Flashpoint and the New 52. Following Barry Allen's alteration of the timeline in the Flashpoint event of 2011, the birth of the New 52 universe took place. Within this universe, Jax-Ur initially emerged among the Kryptonian criminals enclosed within the Phantom Zone, boasting about his alleged destruction of a moon. Here, he was portrayed as a young military officer and the fiancé of Lara Lorvan. But their engagement was severed when Jax-Ur unveiled his support for Colonel Ekar. Ekar, a commanding officer, condemned Krypton's Science Council as weak and self-absorbed, planning a coup d'etat to overthrow it. Despite Jax-Ur's efforts to sway Lara to join their cause and save her life after she confronted Ekar, his attempts failed. General Zod intervened, eliminating Ekar and squashing the rebellion. Jax-Ur found himself imprisoned alongside the surviving insurgents, assuring Lara that he had attempted to rescue her and reaffirming his affection for her. Status quo. After the cosmic shifts in the DC universe through events like DC Rebirth, Death Metal, and Infinite Frontier, reality underwent significant alterations. In the then-current DC universe, Jax-Ur emerged in the storyline presented in Batman Superman World's Finest issues, 18, 19, and 20. In that arc, Jax-Ur exploited a breach in the Phantom Zone, fleeing to Earth while manipulating circumstances to ensnare Batman, forcing him to take Jax-Ur's place within the zone. On his return, Batman and Superman tricked Jax-Ur to attack the Fortress of Solitude, whose floors were rigged with the Phantom Zone projector, and sent him back to the zone. By the power of Krypton. What makes Jax-Ur so powerful? Before his banishment to the Phantom Zone, Jax-Ur already possessed immense prowess as a brilliant scientist. He had an insatiable thirst for world domination, leveraging his intellect to fuel his schemes. This made him equally perilous on Krypton despite lacking any inherent superpowers. In a rebooted reality, he was depicted as a skilled soldier, proficient in combat, and a monumental master of weaponry. Post his exile to the Phantom Zone, he persistently sought to influence the lives of Kryptonian superheroes on Earth, observing them in his spectral form. He mastered communication beyond the zone, employing his mental abilities to hypnotize and telekinetically manipulate objects outside the zone's confines. Upon his escape from the Phantom Zone to Earth, he sported all of Superman's Kryptonian powers under the yellow sun: flight, super strength, invulnerability, heat vision, arctic breath, and super hearing. In his Vought avatar, he was able to alter reality akin to a god. He could banish anyone into the Phantom Zone without the projector. He stood not only as the most treacherous supercriminal within the Phantom Zone, but also emerged as one of the most magnanimous threats on Earth. Marvelous footprints in other media. In Superman the Animated Series, Jax-Ur, voiced by Ron Perlman, is depicted as a brilliant high general aiming to topple Krypton's Science Council. However, Jor-El's intervention led to his lifelong incarceration in the Phantom Zone, while his co-conspirator Mala received a 30-year sentence. Hannah Waddingham portrays a female version of Jax-Ur in the TV series Krypton, previously identified as Sela San. This iteration assumes leadership of the Black Zero terrorist group and holds a past affiliation with Krypton's Science Guild. An incarceration of Jax-Ur is also seen in the fan favorite Young Justice Phantom series, voiced by Andrew Kishino. In the 2013 film Man of Steel, Mackenzie Gray stars as Jax-Ur, a scientist and part of Zod's team. While Superman is on Zod's vessel, Jax manages to secure the growth codex from his blood, which holds his genetic template for future Kryptonians. Eventually, Jax and the crew are sucked into a black hole to the Phantom Zone when the military activates the Phantom Drive, and Death dives into a terraformer world engine. Marvelous verdict. So that concludes our history lesson on Jax-Ur for today. But it does not end his story. He has been an arch-nemesis of Superman since the inception of Superman's career, and still has a daunting presence. Enduring countless reboots and retcons, transitioning from a solitary universe to an omniverse, he has remained resolute. Confined as a permanent resident of the Phantom Zone, in his spectral form, he continues to disrupt Superman's life. Maybe we will see him in all his might again in the funny pages. And rest assured, when that happens, our channel will be there to cover it. So long, perpetrators of the Phantom Zone. Until next escape.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave and like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thank you, everyone.